Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to end a round of crochet in the round when you're done using the color that you're on. So after this, I'm going to do something other than blue. So I'm going to show you a simple way to end this round of crochet. I'm going to show you a more fancy way to end the round of crochet. And then I'm going to show you how to finish off your tails so that they don't come undone later, or the fourth time that you wash whatever this is that you're making. So first, the simple way to end a round of crochet. So there is my last stitch that I just made. I'm back at the beginning. There's my first stitch. The simple way is to make a slip stitch in that first stitch followed by a chain stitch. So I'm going to make a slip stitch here in the first stitch of the round. Insert your hook under both loops of the first stitch, yarn over, and pull through that first stitch and pull through the loop that was already on your hook. There's our slip stitch. Now I'm going to cut my yarn and I'm going to make a chain stitch to finish it off. There's my chain stitch and pull all the way through. Snug that up to make a little knot, and I am done with that round in the simple way of joining. The other way, the little bit fancier way to do it, is called an invisible join or a needle join, and what that does is you don't end up with this little knot that chain stitch makes. So I'm going to undo this, get back to where I started, and I will show you how to do a needle join or an invisible join or a ninja join, whatever you want to call it. I just learned this recently and I'm really liking it. Okay, so now I am back to, I've just finished my last stitch of the round. I'm back to the beginning stitch, that very first stitch, and I'm ready to join back up to finish the round. So what I'm going to do, instead of making a slip stitch in the first stitch, the invisible join mimics the top two loops, that top V of your first stitch. So to do that, again, I just finished my last stitch. I'm going to go ahead and cut my yarn now after finishing that final stitch and pull my yarn tail through. So there we go. Now I'm still not joined yet to the beginning, don't worry about it. Take the yarn tail you just cut and thread it onto a yarn needle. Pick your work back up. One more time, there is our final stitch of the round with the yarn that we just pulled through. There's our first stitch. We're going to mimic the V at the top of that first stitch by taking our needle and inserting it into the second stitch of the round right there, from front to back under both loops. Pull that through to the back side, and then to finish the invisible join off, we're going to go back to the very last stitch of the round, which is the stitch that our yarn tail is coming out of. So we're back to the very last stitch of the round, and you're going to insert your needle in between the front and back loops of the last stitch. So from the top, you're going to go in between the front and back loops, angle your needle towards the back of your work. Go ahead and pull that through. Now you can see we made a fake V. So looking across the top, it looks just like all the other V's on the top of your work. That's what makes it an invisible join. You really can't tell which one's the fake one. I mean, if I tossed this in my bag and picked it back up, I probably wouldn't be able to tell very easily where the beginning and end of my round is. So from here, I'm going to go ahead and work away my tails because that is the end of the invisible join. Now to work away your tails to where this doesn't come undone, or anything that you do doesn't come undone, I'm going to do a cool switchback maneuver. Okay, so there's the back of my work. Here is, get out of the way. Here's the yarn tail that's still on my needle from that invisible join. I'm lazy, so I'm going to go ahead and work that away now so I don't have to re-thread my needle, because I hate threading my needle because I'm a bum. What I'm going to do is I am going to run my needle along the back side of my work, just thread it underneath of a whole bunch of stitches. Bonus points if you can get it underneath stitches of the same color that's on your needle. Cool? The goal here is just to get underneath of as many stitches as you can to where it's nice and secure there without it being seen too much from the front. It'll probably be seen a little bit, but not too bad. Go ahead and pull that through. I'm going to pull gently. I don't really want to yank it because that'll distort the yarn on the front. So to make sure it's not too tight, I'll just pull backwards again. I'm going to go one more time in this direction. So I'm going counterclockwise right now. It doesn't matter. Just keep going in the same direction. And again, just running my needle along the back side of my work, underneath of as many stitches as I can, just to really help secure that. Pull through. Again, not too tight. To make sure it's not too tight, pull back the other direction. And now I'm going to do the switch back to make sure that it's not going to come undone. If I just left it here and I trimmed this tail off, what I've found is after, a few months or a year of abuse and being tossed in a bag, eventually this will work its way loose. And that's no good, because you don't want your stuff coming apart, or you don't want to keep trimming those tails. So I've run my yarn underneath of a whole bunch of stitches. Now I'm going to find the stitch that or the spot that my yarn's coming out of. I'm going to go just to the right of it. So I'm skipping that last bit that's holding my yarn tail down. I'm going just past it. I'm going to go back the other direction. So now I'm going clockwise, running my needle along the back side of my work, underneath as many stitches as I can. I'm going to pull that through, again gently, because you don't want to distort your work. And to make sure you're not too tight, pull back the other direction. And one more time, go in the same direction, because I like a little real estate on my yarn tails here. I'm going to keep working along the back side of the work, running my yarn underneath as many stitches as I can, nice and secure, just using those guys to hold them down. This is hard to do left-handed. I don't know why I'm doing it left-handed, but I'm almost done, so cool. And pull that all the way through, not too tight. Give it a tug the other direction, and from here I feel safe cutting my yarn. It's not going to come back undone. If you're really paranoid, you can give it a third round back the other direction one more time, but I think one switch back is usually sufficient, and that's not going to come undone, and it doesn't distort the work on the other side. Okay, so that was probably a little long-winded, but today you learned how to join your yarn back up when you're crocheting in the round and done with that color. You learned a simple way to do it, you learned a fancy way to do it, and you learned how to work away your yarn tails to where they're not going to come back and haunt you later. Alright, if you have any questions, leave me a comment. If you have any suggestions on another video you'd like me to do, let me know. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.